Who Cares by Rex Greyshot United Kingdom. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Oxfordshire Kingdom.
Rex Orange County. I actually don't have the record in front of me, so if you have the specs.
So it's 34 minutes, 11 songs. Basically 35 minutes, 11 songs long.
Yeah. Pure, clean, wholesome indie.
Yeah, I mean, Rex Orange County is an artist we have reviewed quite a bit on this podcast. I mean, this is his first full project in about 3 years, I'd like to say, because Pony was out in 2019, which we reviewed. Wow. I thought it was okay. I know a lot of people ended up really liking it, but I still think he's one of the more blander indie male artists because, you know, we do like our indie on this podcast. I think Who Cares, first off, great album name. Two problems. One, it's a bit slow and bland. It's kind of just gets at this level and does whatever with it. Two, I'm always going to judge it one notch down, so one less bird when you make all of the song titles caps. You know me. I have morals. I'm going to stand on my fucking ground and stop doing that, goddammit. Because you're not shouting. You're not Denzel Curry. You're not making really like crazy indie music at all, so you don't need to caps your shit, you fucking hipster. Anyways,
it's literally just hipster shit. You're 100% right. Like, and artists could do whatever they want to, but also I agree with you. Like, if you are a punk artist, you're loud as hell, then yeah, caps your tracks. If you're making bedroom pop indie, lowercase them bitches, dog. Why do we have uppercase letters here? This should look like Twitter.
If they were all lowercase, the entire record, I would be okay with that.
Yeah,
but don't tease me and think, oh, he's actually like done something different. Nah, not really. It's okay. The production is cleaned up for him for sure. I'll give him that. Like compared to Pony and a couple other of his earlier records in the mid 2010s, where you had Focus You Never Be Free and Apricot Princess. Those really sounded very raw with the way the production worked in his vocals and whatnot. Who Cares? It's definitely, he's maturing, he's aging up. You can hear the production's really starting to get clean and crisp. His vocals are getting better. But within there, the issue is it's not enough to just clean it up and make it sound way more produced and sound better in that way. You need to then add on top of that and add a little bit of flair, a little suave. Do something where you're not just making all the same bedroom pop and stuff that has been around for the past decade or so. It's like, example, you have one in a million, track 5 in the middle of the record, and it's so bland. It's just here and blah. That's it. It reminds me of Surfaces in a way, where Surfaces, their past couple records have been so bland, where it's just okay.
Yeah, Rex Orange County has had like a co-sign from Tyler the Creator for a long time, and he's the only feature on this. And like it sounds like a Tyler produced song because it has that kind of like quirky sort of off-kilter thing. Like, okay, that's a Tyler track. And I will say, just in general, like, I have my pros and cons and qualms with Tyler the Creator, but the fact that on a mainstream level he's doing weird, like this is the guy who was like met Doom at age 19 and was like, this is my favorite rapper. I'm gonna drop my like kill people, burn shit, fuck school character for a moment and cry because I just met my favorite rapper and I can die a happy musician now. The fact that that kid is now like one of the biggest rappers in the game, like if you like Audioface and you like the music kind of like roots that we do, you have to give that guy props for being on that level. The same way that like rappers who have way different lifestyles, who aren't middle class art kids, are able to like make it through the thing. So yeah, shout out. For once, the middle class has a chance in America. You never see that anymore, low key. But Open a Window, I thought was all right, but what we're getting at is indie. Like, if I want to tell someone what indie more or less has sounded like and evolved into, because you can have a 10, 15-year-old version of indie rock that is like, your, what am I blanking on right now, but kind of your Foo Fighters or sort of your,
you can even put like Silver Sun Pickups into that mix.
Silver Sun Pickups, yeah, Animal Collective is what I'm trying to think of. Yep. Like, there's a certain bands that are like, you think of indie in that way. I would use this album to describe what indie sounds like now, where you have like Zoomers and Millennials kind of running the game. But
honestly, is such a good thing. I want to go on a tangent on that, but keep going.
Yeah, but like, and you can go on the tangent right here because like my wrap up point here is this is what I would show people to say what indie would sound like in 2022. But the problem is indie has kind of sounded like this since we said rock is dead like 3 years ago and indie's gonna save it. So like indie found a sound, but now indie is now just becoming like pop, where we're just hearing the same sound over and over again. Sean, I want to hear your thoughts.
There's a couple of things. I think that's actually a very good comparison because indie has evolved a lot. Where in the early 2000s, right, you had your alternative rock space, but you also had your indie, and they were very influenced by each other, and they would cross paths and dip into each other. Great example, Silver Sun Pickups, one of my absolute favorite bands, still are, and they made a really good rock album a couple years ago. But with that, there was that sound in that mid 2000s, late 2000s, early 2010s, and it was a sound and an era, whatnot, that you really liked. And then, when more and more musicians got electronics and stuff, that's when that kind of fizzled out. Right now with indie, and this is very interesting, and I get this with a lot of the male artists, they are really starting to get stagnated to where it's becoming very bland. There isn't much creativity with it, except there are exceptions. You have your Dives, and an Indian Tutorial Moz, so on and so forth. Those people are making fantastic music, and they're going to be releasing some music this year, which I'm very looking forward to, because within indie, especially the males, they're really not making anything different. They're stuck in this 2017 sound of like Summer Forever, basically, and just that's all you've been getting the past few years. And then on the flip side, you have the women in indie who are making more grungy sound, more like a bit different, a bit more upbeat sound and stuff too. So it's interesting to hear like the very different dynamics within indie, especially within male and female, like the big discrepancy, and you're getting that in trap as well a lot. So it's very interesting to hear that throughout the past 5-6 years, really. But Who Cares is the epitome of the state of male indie in 2022. Like, there are some people who can save it. There are artists that can do stuff. You have, the 1975. You have a couple other people that can really, amp it up a little bit. But the reason why, and this was something I'm very disappointed with, because Open a Window with Tyler, the Creator, I thought was very, very good. And when I was listening to this record, I was like, oh, wow, cool. Because I didn't look at the track listing. I just put it on and played it through. It's like, oh, wow, there might be some really good stuff in here. That Tyler song was good. But after that, it was just stagnated, because they're not branching out. They're picking a song, they're getting comfortable with it, they're getting comfortable with the production and everything. They might clean it up, they might crisp it up a little bit, but there's no innovation with it. Example, like the polar opposite was Chillwave. Chillwave, in the late 2000s, early 2010s, extremely experimental, but had mainstream play to it. Example, you had New Beat from Toriyama, experimental indie track, but had a lot of mainstream appeal to it. It's a good track. You had Polish Girl by Neon Indian, really experimental track, but gained a lot of mainstream appeal. You also have Washed Out, who's made a couple of really, really good tracks in his last album.
Jai Paul, and how legendary.
Jay Paul, who is incredible. And look, and Jay Paul came back in 2019, released 2 singles, fucking songs of the year. So, but the thing that all of them are doing, all 4 of those male artists, they're experimenting. They're trying to do something that no one else has done, and they're getting all of these different influences from so many different sources, so many different things, and they're experimenting with it. And they're being, you know what? Not everybody may like it, but let's try it. And that's what they're doing. And that was taking their time too.
And that was the appeal of indie, is that you will always go to indie for, it's going to sound a little bit offbeat. It's going to be a little bit different. Like, these are the rejects. Like, this is not making it in the traditional genres, but because of that, you get some really nice sounds. What I am worried about right now is that, not to make this an accidental state of music conversation, but I think this is a good example of it, is that indie now has a sound. It is a sound that is no longer the traditional experimental indie that what we has. It's more of like a cookie cutter bedroom pop thing that is nice, and other people can do it in an angle. Like Biba Doobie, who just announced a new record coming out soon, did a grunge angle on that did really well. Same with Mom Tune and a number of other different female indie artists.
You have Phoebe Bridgers.
Hell, right before this time, maybe you could say this is when the Fire Nation attacked. You had Mac DeMarco, who that would have been considered indie, and that's more of a relative cousin to this bedroom pop style of sound in indie. That was twangy, folksy kind of like representation of that. You're combining a lot of things that barely have mainstream appeal, but that combination ended up breaking out and doing something. So basically, I don't want to be able to say indie just sounds like Rex Orange County, because right now a lot of it does. But indie is so much more, always has been, always will be, so long as we don't lose sight of that, and like, indie doesn't just become this other like catch-all thing for, oh, it's like another subgenre, but it doesn't mean anything what it originally meant in the beginning.
And that's what I'm really excited for this year, with more and more artists coming out with different stuff too. I really wanted to give Rex Orange County a chance, but it's very bland. You're not going to be impressed with it, especially for the true Audioface listeners. You guys already know. But with that, you have a lot of different indie artists that are going to be releasing music later this year, and I'm very, very excited to hear what they do, because there are new sounds, there are new things that are being made and being produced that are out there. Like, example, like Tori Amos' single of Postman, he was doing funk. He had like some funk in there. I'm like, whoa, like what is he had that stuff with Fortet too. I'm like, so what is he gonna make? Like, that's so cool to me, because that's, no one else is doing that. Like, let's see what happens with that. But then all of this bedroom pop that has been recirculated since 2017 onward, it's like, okay, we've been there, we've done that, we can do more, we can do better.
Yeah,
so let's get
especially
out of this.
with Rex being one of the more prominent ones. I would like to conclude, for me, I would like to have a run-up to the next Rex Orange County project. And I would like to have that thing. Like, I don't know how this is going to sound. This sounds a little different. He might be coming to surprise us. I like that experience with records more. And I think that's better for fans as well.
Yeah.
Arbitrary scale. Bird breeds. I'm giving this the House Finch.
House Finch.
The, maybe, bedroom house Finch.
Bedroom house Finch. That's great. This is... damn. House Finch is actually a really good one. No, this is your... this is a sparrow.
Okay.
Small, annoying little fucker.
That's totally fair.